What's up guys, it's Roger and welcome back to the channel. And today we're playing some more Trials of Osiris. Got a buffed build here for you guys. You know I love using the Blink Hunter, but it actually got a few buffs, so let's go ahead and talk about those. So I should be specific here and start saying that Arc Hunter itself only got one big buff, and that's going to come down here to Tempest Strike. Now Tempest Strike is a very solid aspect. It's never been bad in my opinion. The only problem is, its brother over here, Lethal Current, is amazing. The question that you always have to ask yourself is, why would I ever run this over this? And it's hard to think of a reason. This is so perfect, especially on aggressive builds such as shotgun builds, which is almost what I'm running all the time. This does have its uses too, especially in a build like you're going to see today that I have a SMG on. If you're using sidearms, anything like that, Tempest Strike fills the slot of Lethal Current very well. The thing is, even if you're not running a shotgun build and you just want to go balls to the wall, you can still use Lethal Current and not even have to have a shotty, and it still fills that slot, right? You can still get away with being aggro aggressive mixed with your Lethal Current. So that's what makes it to where Tempest Strike just doesn't really have its own place in this kit. So what Bungie did was they gave it 15 more damage. It went from 110 damage to 125. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but I guarantee you, as you'll see through the gameplay today, and from what I noticed while I was using this, it actually feels monumentally better. It secures kills so much more often, and it feels amazing. So I will say that, I will put myself on the line and tell you, I think this ability is way better now. On top of getting a damage boost, it also has better tracking, which it already had pretty crazy tracking, but it's better now. And it also goes over terrain better, which I did see that a few times today while I was using it. It goes over walls and little rocks and stuff a lot better than it used to, so that's a nice little buff. Besides that, I should mention there was some other little buffs just to straight up blink itself, and of course we are going to be blinking today, so like the blink bug where you couldn't slide anymore is gone now, so you can use all your blinks and then you can still slide, which of course is a bug that has been on Blink and has been plaguing us Blink users for a long time now, so remember that that is fixed. Starting over here on our armor, I am using the Shinobu's Vow, which is going to give us 2 skip grenades, and we get energy back to our skip grenades when they do damage. Good stuff right there. Over here on the rest of our armor, there's some stuff that I want to talk about really quickly. You guys know how I usually set my armor up. I use Firepower, Heavy-Handed, and the Reaper mods to make Orbs of Power. Go ahead and pause if you want to read these more in depth. But what I would do is I would pick those up and use the Innervation, Orbs of Restoration, and Absolution mods to get energy back. The thing is, this entire build kind of just got nerfed because they nerfed how much energy these kind of mods give back. These ones only has 10 seconds to proc, or you lose the actual ability to make the orb off of Reaper, and then these ones have a cooldown between the procs that you can do on them now, so they're not as good. So I am maybe looking to change that up as my regular build, as well as the fact, just to finish it off, Bomber mods got nerfed too. So I have 2 bomber mods on. With 2 bomber mods on, every time we use our dodge, we get 17% of our energy back to our grenade ability, which is still nice, but just remember it's not as good as it used to be because they did just get nerfed. Coming over to our weapons, and I'm going to be using the long arm scout rifle. One of the big reasons I actually enjoy Eternity is because I like scout rifles a lot, and it's not something that I usually show off on the channel or talk about often because most maps I don't think work very well with scout rifles, and not the way that I play especially. But Eternity has such long ranges and it's so open that I think scout rifles work so perfectly on this map, so whenever I have the opportunity to play Eternity Trials, I always use a scout rifle if I can in one of my builds, and that's what we're doing today. I'm using the long arm. You can see I have subsistence and explosive payload, so the range on this thing is absolutely nutty. You'll see me get some great plays with this today in the gameplay. For my closer range gun, I am using the Blood Feud submachine gun. It has 3 stability, so if that's something you can't handle, you can't keep your aim on point just by yourself, especially if you're a controller player, not because you're a worse player if you're on controller, but because I know it's harder to control guns on controller if they don't have a good stability stat, then you probably want to fill this in with something else. But just in case you're wondering, what are you using today, Roger? I'm using this. You can get over a lot of the stability problems by using dynamic sway reduction, and then if you are on Void, you could use elemental capacitor here to get even more stability. So those 2 things together, even if you're on Arc like I am today with 100 handling, which feels really, really nice, this gun is super snappy with that on it, you still don't have to have a high stability, and I think you'll see that in the gameplay today. Last few things to mention here, big things, is obviously Gambler's Dodge. We're using Blink, of course, combination blows so we can heal off of getting our melee kills, skip grenades, of course, because we're using Shinobu's Vow. I am using Flow State, so when I do get kills on jolted targets, we are going to get amplified and get all the extra bonuses that come with that. For our fragments, I'm going to be using Spark of Haste, so we get plus 30 resilience, recovery, and mobility when we are sprinting. After that, I only have on Volts right here because I needed this to get 100 recov, and then after that, I have Spark of Recharge, so whenever I'm critically wounded, our melee and grenade energy regenerate more quickly. Last but not least, I have Spark of Shock, which is always something you want to have on most builds with your Hunter on the Arc subclass, just because it's an easier way to kill your enemies, get some more damage out there, and to get amplified. So that's going to let our skip grenades actually go out and jolt targets, which just gives us so many extra benefits that I'd love to see. That is all the major stuff that I have to cover. If you do enjoy the gameplay today, at any point, you'll leave me a like or subscribe. I'd very much appreciate that. Make sure you stay tuned. I'm going to have a Warlock build video coming out tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to see the buffed Void Warlock, then make sure you are subscribed to see that, because it just got a few good buffs to itself that I think you might find interesting. All that being said, I hope you guys do enjoy the gameplay, and I think we're ready to get on into it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and blink on into it. Well, I think right off the bat, the only thing we should do is talk about Tempest Strike and how much better it is. And I will say, like I said in the intro, it feels better. I can tell the difference, even with just 15 more damage, and on top of that, the tracking. You're going to see a nice nade combo with the Tempest Strike here that you can do very easily. Chuck it down there. You saw all that damage that flied in there. We also should mention it's pretty good for shredding Titan shields, and if there's a Titan behind it, there is a possibility that if it hits the shield and breaks it, it could hit the Titan behind it, which is going to apply Jolt to them immediately. Now, on top of that, let's talk about Jolt. When Jolt procs, it does 50 to 51 damage, somewhere in that little range, right? We already have 125 from our Tempest Strike now. So you add that together, you're getting around 175, right? And that amount of damage is nothing to sneeze at. As you can see in this clip right here, it did very good damage. It applied Jolt to both those guys, which let me go in with my Blood Feud here, smack them both up, blink back in on this guy, and finish him off for a nice 3-piece for myself. And that's what I was really starting to notice, is that this thing actually does pretty good damage. Now, it's not that I ever thought it was bad, like I said in the intro as well. I kind of knew that I was sleeping on this aspect, only because Lethal Current is so damn good. When you have two kids in front of you, let's say they're yours just to make this more fun, you have Timmy and Tammy, right? Timmy's your son. Kid's fucking bulked out of his mind, steroids coming out of his ears, PP smaller than a shrimp, but I mean, that's the roids, we can't blame him for that. And dude is about to win Mr. fucking America bodybuilder competition. Awesome. You're so proud of your son. Tammy's addicted to crack. That was a hard departure, but my point is, you're gonna be proud of more than one kid than the other one at that point, right? Obviously, you love Timmy more, because he's out there accomplishing stuff. Arnold Schwarzenegger looking ass, absolutely proud of Timmy. Tammy needs rehab, and that's not a bad thing. If you need rehab, you should get it, and I'm going to be there to support my daughter all along the way. The point is, I know I can be more proud of her, and that is what's happened with Tempest Strike. It's got to a point where I'm more proud of it. I'm proud to say Tempest Strike is my son, and it just got me a kill on Lil Tommy right there. It went down the edge of that wall right there, and it got me that kill, which, who knows, before it got buffed here, it might not have traveled down that architecture as well as it just did to pick that kill up for me in that round. So that's kind of the stuff that I want to bring to your mind here, is yes, Tempest Strike has always been a solid aspect, but it's even better now. It's very, very solid now, and although I still do think that Lethal Current is better, Lethal Current can't do that. If I wanted to kill that guy with Lethal Current right there, what did I have to do? I would have had to go, put my fist straight into his mouth and say, "Open wide, here comes the choo-choo train." Who knows if he would open wide? He might have bit my hand like I used to do to the frickin' dentist when I was 5 years old. And nobody likes that. Nobody wants to get their fingers bit unless you're into that, which in case, I'm not gonna kink shame, but I mean, it's kind of weird. The point is, with Tempest Strike, I was able to strike him in his little bus safely from around the corner. Because this thing does have very, very good tracking. And that's what we should mention next, is that the tracking on Tempest Strike is actually super strong. It magnetizes incredibly quickly to people, and that's something you'll notice if you use it for just a few matches. You're gonna be like, oh, this thing flies around corners. Now, let's stop talking about Tempest Strike, and let me talk about the lag in this game a little bit. Look at that last kill that I got with my SMG. And I want to point this out in a few clips as I go throughout the gameplay here, but my day has just been so laggy. I know there's a lot of cheaters on D2, but I think there's been like a huge, well, I know there's been a huge spike of net limiters lately, and I think it's gone up even higher. On top of that, there was a lower player pop, I'm pretty sure, on Trials today because the dungeon came out today as well. So people weren't playing Trials as much, they were doing the dungeon or whatever else, and it just all culminated in a terrible opening day of Trials. Hopefully it's not as bad. Screw that smoke bomb, by the way. I had to show you guys that smoke bomb threw me into the abyss here. I lived, by the way, and we'll just blink the next round anyways. But yeah, it's just been some wacky tobacco type shit. And I'm just like, what is going on? This day has just been one of the laggiest I've ever seen. And it was just so frustrating because so many of my bullets were just going through people in matches that I would have been able to clutch up, you know, had I not been getting this ridiculous lag. And a lot of it is lag abusers, like no joke. There's a lot of lag abusers on the game right now. But I do want to send the question to y'all and ask you, have you been seeing more lag this weekend or just in general since the season started? Obviously, I've seen a lot of lag for the last few seasons building up and up and up until you get to a weekend like this and it's like really culminating and you see it more than ever. But what about you guys? How have you noticed this weekend so far? You know, has it been super uber laggy for you to a point where you just like can barely do anything, or has it not been too bad? And especially if you're a PC player, I want your opinion, because the things like the net limiters are going to be on PC, of course, for the most part. You're not going to see that kind of stuff, or really hacks in general as much on console. That being said, it definitely does happen. But I wanted to bring these points to you guys and really make sure I get your opinion on it to see if it's happening to you guys too, or maybe I'm just going crazy a little bit. But either way, all I do know is that this day has been one of the laggiest I've ever seen in Trials of Osiris. Now, that being said, how did I feel about the day overall, even without that? Well, you can see in a clip like this, I was having pretty good fun. I mean, if those guys didn't have extra effective health, because they always have fucking extra effective health because they have a Void Titan on their team, and he can put down one goddamn shield that you can get to have a lower cooldown or as low of a cooldown as a Hunter dodge, and then they just always have Void Overshield on themselves, which makes their higher effective health, and it's hard to win gunfights. Oh, yeah. I hate the meta, and it's not gonna change. But hey, look at that. You can buzz people up with this Tempest Strike. I think you've already seen some really good plays from this Tempest Strike in this gameplay. And like, oh, I'm really loving it. I think I'm going to run it for the rest of the weekend. Unless I start running Lethal Current with a shotgun build, I might do that for the rest of the weekend. But I think I'm definitely going to try to at least stay on Tempest Strike and keep giving it its fair shake. And I'm going to use it more now that it's been buffed because it really does feel so much better. And I really appreciate that they actually gave it a little bit of love. Arc Hunter is a really good kit. I think it is the most balanced Hunter kit in terms of PvP. It's really good in PvE also, if you didn't know that. But in PvP, I think Arc Hunter is the most balanced kit in the entire game, which is funny because I think every kit that has Blink in it is the most balanced. So I think Void Warlock is the most balanced Warlock kit. I'm not saying it's not strong, and I'm not saying Hunter isn't strong, but I think they're the most balanced out of all the kits. You can't just get a free kill from freezing someone or use your Dusk Fields, you know, with stasis, right? You can't go in and crutch invis with this disgusting lighting system we have in this game and get off radars and all this stuff like you can on Void. You can't just pop healing nades a bunch like you can on Solar. You know, you can't go on Strand and just straight up suspend people to where they can't fight back because now they're strung up like a $12 scarecrow in your front lawn. You can't do that. What do you get with Hunter? One of the strongest things is Jolt to do a little bit of extra damage. And then on top of that, it's going to be something like Lethal Current, which has a lunge range, you know, which makes that really strong. But other than that, it's a very balanced kit. If you want to get amplified, it's the same way as Devour. You need to actually get a kill, unless you're running like Seek and Filaments, you need to get a kill with your abilities to actually go ahead and proc that amplified. Or you can get a double kill with a arc weapon, I should say, which is something that I have on today. If you get a multi-kills with arc weapons, then it actually procs. Here's another laggy time where I was like, okay, that kid should have just died. But he didn't. Felt like I put enough bullets in him, but whatever. But as I was saying, I really do. I think it's one of the most, or I do think it is the most balanced kit for a Hunter. Every part of it has good pros and cons to it. I honestly wish we didn't have two aspects on Arc Hunter that was all about melees, because it just feels kind of dry to me, you know? And I'm really excited to get that new Arc Hunter kit additions with that one aspect that just instantly makes you amplified. Although again, it's like, I don't really know how I feel about that because we lose the trade-off, right? Like I said earlier, I think it's so balanced because you have a trade-off to get amplified on this class. You need to go get those kills on a jolted target, and Jolt doesn't last long. So you have risk-reward to actually getting stuff done, to getting amplified, to getting these buffs on your character. But then we're going to have a new aspect. I'm pretty sure how it's going to work is you literally just like use your dodge or something, and you're instantly amplified. It like twirls a little staff above your head. You know, obviously we'll see more when it comes out in final shape in 16 years, or probably never, because, you know, apparently they're just going to keep pushing it back until we're all wrinkled, disgusting men and my butt cheeks are sliding down to my ankles like a cheese pizza when you take it out of the oven. But the point is, I just really do think it's a very balanced kit. So yeah, I'm excited to see the new addition, especially the new super, because as you've seen in the gameplay, oh, fuck that guy, by the way. I was so happy to win this match. I was carrying my cheeks off to win that match. And that guy was one of the biggest crushing piles of stinky cum I've ever seen. So I was happy to put my nuts all over his face when I beat him right there. So no remorse on that one. But yeah, I'm excited to see the hunters of the arc here get buffed with that new super and stuff. I had some good Gathering Storm plays you're seeing in the gameplay today. You've already seen a few. You'll see a couple more before the gameplay is over. And it's nice, and that's another reason why I like drawn out weekends like this on a long range map like Eternity, because you actually get your supers. I got my Gathering Storm like 6 times today at least, if not more, you know, because the matches were going long enough. So even with a low intellect and with a longer time, you know, than like a Well of Radiance or a freaking bubble, I was actually getting my super and I was getting to use it, and it was really, really fun. I just wish they would do, I don't know, I wish I could get that more, I guess is what I'm saying. Especially with how weak Gathering Storm is, I wish it was easier to actually get it, because it is still a lackluster super. You know, I do want to say really quick, just a little apologies for not posting as many videos as I wanted to when the season started. I went and I put out a God Roll review for one of the new guns that came out with the season, so if you haven't go and watch that, you know, go ahead, it's on my channel page, you can watch that next. But then I was just kind of like, there is no good game modes right now. None of the game modes that were active is something that I wanted to play long enough to get enough gameplay for you guys to try a weapon out, to make a video for you guys. I wasn't going to do it. It sucks. All the game modes suck. I don't want to play Checkmate Control. If I just want to go into casual control, I just want it to be regular control. I haven't really screwed around with Checkmate yet, but I just want to play control. I just want a sixes match where I can hop in and it's just simple as can be, and I can just slay out and try a weapon out. But I just don't have that, so I was like, I'm not doing this. So that's why I was so glad when Trials came back, and obviously I'm going to have a lot of content for you guys this weekend and mac out as much gameplay as I can for you guys on Trials now, because you know Trials is what I really love. I did want to bring up to you guys though, I was thinking about doing comp this season. I haven't played comp the past 2 seasons, and I never even got a Mercurial Overreach because I didn't play a single game of comp last season. Like, I'm not even exaggerating, I didn't play a single one. If you want to see me play some comp, whether it's in like a solo series, or maybe I might do it with one of my good friends, Cranky Panky, obviously you guys know him. We're talking about maybe playing a little bit, maybe some of my other buddies. But if that's something you'd be interested in, then let me know. Obviously, I can try different builds and stuff. You know, when I play in comp, I don't try hard. I don't ever try hard really anywhere in terms of my builds and like cheesing and stuff. I like to always use fun guns and things that I enjoy, and that I can also get some fun gameplay for you guys with. So if that's something that interests you in the slightest, please leave me a comment and let me know that, because it's something I'm definitely thinking about. Don't know if I'll do it for sure, but as with anything I ever do, if I see interest from you guys and I know that people are thinking that they would like to watch something like that, then I'm much more likely to actually do it. So leave a comment and be like, I would love to see a comp series. You know, my old comp series, I called it Blink to Ascendant. And I never actually would ever make it to Ascendant because I would get so frustrated with comp and how much it doesn't work that I would just never go all the way. But maybe this season is the season. Maybe it's the season that I'll actually like stick it up to Ascendant. You know, obviously on Blink all the way. That's why the series is called Blink to Ascendant. So if you'd like to see me bring that series back, then, you know, leave me a comment. I'd very much appreciate that. And I would definitely go ahead and do it if there's enough interest shown. I had to show you guys this clip because this was just cracking me up. As soon as me and my teammate died here, I was like, the well is still alive. I went in team chat as quick as I can. I was like, get in there, get the frickin' well. And he did, and he did it crazy, and he started bagging the snot out of those guys. I was cracking up. Look at this lag, by the way. Hey, you ever seen a guy just spawn in front of you? That guy's a lag abuser, I'm not even gonna lie. In like Templey or some shit, I forget what his name was exactly, but he was lag abusing his cheeks off. I saw him in a couple of matches. The second time I saw him, he was on my team, but every time he's just zooming across screens, hitting these shots from around corners and stuff, like just the most wacky stuff. Here's another time where obviously Tempest Strike goes absolutely nutty buddy on that kid. And then another time when I get screwed over by lag, because I go through this Titan Shield. I watched that in slow motion, by the way. I watched that frame by frame. When I pull the trigger, I am point blank on him, full reticle, aim down sights on that guy. Midsection, right? There is nowhere else for my bullets to have gone right there than straight into his asshole. And I even almost broke his shields. So where did the bullets go, Bungie? That's the stuff I'm kind of asking here. This game doesn't. Oh, I'm gonna eat somebody's cheek holes, and it's not gonna be consensual. A nice little clip right there. I like to show off long arm sometimes. It does have a really good hip fire. Of course, it's like DMT light, so you should keep that in mind. I don't really use the hip fire too often, but every now and again, I'm like knowing that I can use it in a situation like that, so I kind of do. This probably was like my greatest Gathering Storm of the night. And this is just a good way to show you how Gathering Storm is still almost fucking ridiculously worthless against Bubble. You know what would have happened if I tried to pop that on the outside of his bubble? It wouldn't have killed the bubble. I would have had to do extra damage to the bubble to even kill it. So you have to try to get inside the bubble. So then you have to hope that it's not laggy enough or they kill you fast enough once you get inside the bubble that you can actually pop your super. And then you don't have that much damage reduction compared to other supers in the game on Gathering Storm. So you have to hope that you don't die while you are popping the Gathering Storm. If they have a single conditional finality, they could freeze you in the middle of that pop animation. There's just so many things that are so weak. Even you saw there, I killed him, and it didn't even kill the second guy immediately with the cast of the Gathering Storm. It had to like take a few, procs, and it's just like, my god, why is the super so weak? But either way, this build did get me a nice little flawless. It was definitely hard fought, but I did really well this season. The season just started, goddamn. I got a new shader right there, by the way. I'll show you that on my character really quick, because I was like, oh, look, a new shader. But I did really well this weekend. I'm excited to keep playing some more. Leave me a like, of course, if you guys do want to see more. Let me know about the comp series and just how your weekends have gone so far. And of course, make sure you are ready to see the Warlock build that I will have coming out tomorrow, or later today. Yeah, later today. It'll be later today with the buffed Void Warlock as well. But that's going to do it for me today. I really appreciate you guys, and as always, have a great day, Guardians.